Hello guys! In this video I'll show you how to turn this polygonal geometry into hair using the Ahoge plugin in Maya and demonstrate the new features in Ahoge version 0.9. This character was created by John CG. He has a lot of videos about custom metahumans in Unreal Engine. Links to his channel and Ahoge plugin in the description. Let's get started! I have these polygonal hair strands that John CG created in ZBrush and Maya. This is how they look. First, I separate the mesh and delete the history. Ahoge generates hair based on NURBS surfaces, so we need to convert the polygons to NURBS. An important point: all these curls are tubes with clean topology and are open at the roots and tips. Select the polygonal hair, go to the Modify menu, then Convert and find Polygons to Subdiv. If Maya throws an error, open this option box and increase the faces and vertices values. Keeping the selection, go back to Modify, Convert, Subdiv to NURBS. Next, I assign a material and group the result, naming the group Hair NURBS. Now I have NURBS curls ready for Ahoge hair generation. Please note that if your hair strands are closed at the roots or tips, you won't be able to convert them into NURBS. The curl will break apart. If your topology is clean, you can delete extra polygons at the ends to make it work. But even if the tubes are open on both sides, bad topology, like here, when an edge spirals along the entire geometry, and here this messy area, this geometry won't work either. Again, the curl splits into pieces. You can try to retopologize it in ZBrush or Maya, or model new hair from scratch using curve brushes, for example. Here I merged vertices to flatten the edge, and in this case Maya's retopology worked. Of course, topology like this still isn't suitable, and even this solid geometry can't be used for Ahoge hair generation. So we select our NURBS surfaces, go to the Ahoge menu and click Create Ahoge. I increased the hair thickness and set the color with a ramp to make it clearly visible. And here's what we see. On some strands the hair grows upside down. On others, it grows completely horizontally. The thing is, hair grows along the V direction of the surface. After conversion, NURBS can be oriented chaotically, each in random directions. Select the NURBS and the head, go to Ahoge, Debug, Fix Surfaces. Now all hairs are positioned vertically, but we can see that some strands are still growing upside down. The ends should be pink, while the roots should be blue. This happened because in these areas the hair tips are located too close to the character's geometry. And the Fix Surfaces command cannot determine where the beginning is and where the end is. When this happens, you can simply create a sphere and position it near the hair roots, as close as possible. Select the NURBS together with this sphere and press Fix Surfaces again. And now we can see that all hairs grow in one correct direction. One more important note regarding NURBS. When converting from polygons, the resulting NURBS surfaces are created as open surfaces. To make future modification easier, you can stitch them. Go to the Surfaces menu, open Close. Open the tool options, select U direction and click Close. Now the NURBS are closed. Also, you can rebuild it and set any number of segments in both V and U directions. Now that we've finished converting polygons to NURBS, we can proceed to hair setup. All Ahoge modifiers are located in the Attribute Editor. I changed the color to red. First, I adjusted hair width to make it finer. Then I shaped the hair using a ramp, tapering the ends to create soft tips. I also increased hair density and segment count to smooth them out. Next, I scrolled down to the Spray menu and increased the Fill parameter. It distributes hair inside the strands, essentially filling them out. To make the hair look natural, we need to add some curvature and randomness. For this, we'll adjust the noise parameters. I set the noise strength and frequency. Frequency controls the wave density. I also enabled randomization for both noise and frequency. So some hairs bend more, while others bend less. Next, I added cut to trim some hairs, creating more natural-looking tips. Using the ramp, you can control the ratio between long and short hairs. With fewer long hairs, the tips appear softer and more airy. Spray moves the hairs inward and outward, mixing them together. The strength of the spray can be controlled using a ramp. I enabled multi-strand and adjusted its percentage value. This modifier adds secondary hairs to each main strand, forming thinner bundles and boosting overall density. For more detailed information about modifiers, you can watch our Creating Hair with Ahoge video on our channel, or visit Ahoge Wiki. Let's increase hair density and see what we have on the render. Currently, Ahoge supports Arnold render only, so you need to assign the Arnold standard hair shader to the hair. The next step is to continue adjusting the hair and adding more details. Ahoge version 0.9 introduces a new Clumps feature that splits each curl into smaller bundles. You can shape these clumps using a ramp control. Clump minimum and clump maximum define the random distribution range of bundles per curl. At the top of the parameters list, the seed value lets you input any number to generate random variations. Simply pick your favorite result. The clump fill parameter tightens bundles towards the curl's center for fuller density. Clump flyaway adjusts the percentage of stray hairs escaping the clumps. The clump cut parameter randomly trims bundle lengths. Let's check our render results. Notice how the clumps creates more dynamic, airy hairstyle. Next, I decided to fix some areas of the hair geometry. For example, here you can see the geometric curls intersecting with the head mesh. There are multiple ways to edit NURBS shapes in Maya. The first method is surface point editing. For easier control, enable whole display. Also, you can go to Surfaces menu, Sculpt Geometry tool. It provides brushes for smoothing surfaces. Unfortunately, Maya's NURBS Sculpt Geometry tool has limited functionality for surface sculpting, as it lacks essential brushes like Move, making complex surface shaping impossible. But there is a solution! Use our Sculpt Mesh tool script that converts NURBS surfaces into polygonal tubes and connects them as deformers to the original NURBS surfaces. This allows using Maya's full set of sculpting brushes to modify the curl shape. You can select all or several curls, press Sculpt and model using brushes located on the sculpting panel. By default, the grab brush is selected. You can choose, for example, Inflate brush. If you hold Shift, the Smooth brush activates. The grab brush works the same as Move in ZBrush. When you finish editing curls, you need to press Finish. On the Tool Settings panel for the grab brush, you can change type from Surface to Volume. Then the brush will move all selected curls at once. Surface mode allows moving curls individually. The third method for editing surfaces. Select a curl and create a rig in the Ahoge menu. If you open the option box, you can choose one of 3 rig types and set the number of controls. The first option is Forward Kinematics Rig. It works like this. The second rig option is Spline IK. The third option is Inverse Kinematics, which allows pulling strands by their tips. To delete a rig, select the NURBS and press Delete Surface Rig in the Ahoge menu. Using these tools, I edited the curls, fixing critical intersection between NURBS and with the head. She should have white bangs and a couple more white strands. To assign different colors to hairs, need to create new Ahoge. I selected existing Ahoge and curls that will be white, went to Ahoge menu and clicked Disconnect. Then duplicated Ahoge. Selected this one and pressed Disconnect Connected Surfaces. And connected this Ahoge to two strands that will be white. For bangs, I created separate Ahoge to have more control for its setup. Changed bangs color to white. To avoid changing parameters to each Ahoge manually, use new feature Copy Ahoge Attributes. It copies all settings of selected Ahoge. Next, select Ahoge where you want to copy to, and open option box of Paste Ahoge Attribute. Here you can choose which exactly attributes you want to insert. In this case, I'm interested only in color. Press Apply and strands colored same white as bangs. After this, I changed some settings for bangs, reduced noise and amount of hairs. Made red hair color more interesting by adding mutant color and randomize in color menu. To make Ahoge hair color appear in the render, press Tab to create user data color node. In attribute write Ahoge color and connect this node to base and diffuse color in the shader. Set melanin to 0 and increase diffuse value. Now we need to solve the visible scalp problem. Meanwhile, in this area, the hair only grows on the top and bottom of the head, leaving the center empty. For best results, you should cover the entire scalp with hair. I duplicated several hair strands and used them to fill some empty spaces. Sometimes, when duplicating curls, an unpleasant thing happens. Hairs continue growing along original NURBS shape and don't follow new deformation, and deleting history doesn't help. If you open Node Editor, you see Maya for some reason keeps NURB shape orig. If you delete them, problem will be solved. This doesn't always happen, and we don't know under what exact circumstances. To avoid deleting them manually, select NURBS, go to Ahoge, Debug, Delete Intermediate Objects. We recommended doing this when you have any problems with NURBS, and also periodically cleaning your geometry, especially before setting up dynamics. Let's get back to solving the visible scalp problem caused by insufficient hair density. While you could simply maximize the density value, we recommend a better way. Create an additional inner hair layer, thicker and denser, and your beautiful airy Ahoge layer with noise and clumps will be on top. I created a new Ahoge with higher density and increased hair thickness, boosted the fill value and adjusted shift slightly inward to compress the curls. For the primary Ahoge, I did the opposite. Reduced fill and slightly increased spray. Then copied the red hair color using Copy Ahoge Attributes. For the inner layer, I applied more aggressive cut trimming. We don't need extra density at the tips. They should remain airy. The render now shows complete scalp coverage without transparency. For quick and convenient hide and hide of hairs and NURBS, I created two layers in the channel box. Select the desired folder, click Layers, create layer from selected. Now I'll tell you about one more new function in Debug menu. Fix ramps. What is it for? To fix Maya bugs related to ramps. If you delete first point on ramp accidentally or intentionally, and even if you create new point, when saving scene and reopening it, you'll encounter unpleasantness. Ramp gets first point with default value. No matter how hard you try to delete it, when reopening the scene, it will appear again. Same thing happens if you set pure black color. We were unpleasantly surprised when discovered this Maya bug and decided to make our debug for such cases. Select Ahoge, go to Ahoge, Debug, Fix Ramps. Now all ramps are fixed, and when saving and opening scenes, everything will remain as you configure it. Next, I played around with hair settings a bit, increased multi-strand amount, fine-tuned noise. Time to add more details to the hairstyle. I used this method. Select Isoparm on surface, go to Curves menu, duplicate surface curves. My curve gets created. I did same with other NURBS. Resulting curves need to be selected together with the head. Go to Ahoge menu, Extra, NURBS, and new surfaces get created along curves. I changed shape to line to make them flat. If activate Orient, strands will orient along the head. I increased segment count, adjusted strand shape using a ramp. Can also add twist and rotation, but not needed here. In latest Ahoge versions appeared new NURBS feature, Randomize. It allows randomizing strand radius. Using seed can find best variant. I added strands to NURBS layer and switched it to reference mode to make them unselectable in viewport. This makes it easier to select curve points and edit shape. As long as you don't delete history, these strands will follow curves during deformation. This can also be done using Sculpt Mesh Tool script or rig. Edited few more new curves. To add them to existing NURBS system, select Curves, Strand, go to Extra menu and click Connect. After this, I created new Ahoge for red and white strands. Copied needed settings from other hair shapes. Assign shader and press Render. See how much more interesting hairstyle looks after adding these thin strands. Next, I created two more new Ahoge, red and white, with small hair density and strong noise. This will add fine detailing and realism to hairstyle. I think it looks better now. Next, I used a Lattice deformer to adjust the hairstyle's base shape. It seemed to me the back part was too large. Next step, eyebrows and eyelashes. I made the head a live object and used Sculpt Tool to draw future eyebrow hairs. Then selected curves one by one and created a loft. Making eyebrows with Ahoge isn't ideal, especially for realistic results. Eyebrows works better with Exigent style curves. We plan to implement a scatter system in Ahoge for eyebrows, short hairs and fur in future. But even now, decent results are possible with Ahoge. Surfaces need flipping for proper hair growth direction. According to author's vision, Astrid has thick dark eyebrows. I tried recreating this. Note: hairs grows along surface isoparams direction. I spent some time adjusting brows and refining shape while checking render results. Then decided to duplicate these eyebrow cards to create an additional layer for more volume. For eyelashes, I selected edge loop around eye and created curve from it by going to Modify, Convert, Polygon Edges to Curve. Duplicated curve twice and created loft. Reminder: pure black color cannot be used due to Maya bug. When creating eyelashes, I always use cut, some multi-strands, and of course clumps with flyaway. And some noise with small frequency value to slightly random eyelash shape. While history isn't deleted from loft, shape can be changed using curves. Let's look at the final result I achieved. This is the original hair geometry. And this is the hairstyle created from this geometry, using the Ahoge plugin. I think it looks pretty nice. What do you think? Would you like to try making hair with Ahoge? I hope this video was helpful for you. Please like, comment and subscribe to see new tutorials about hair creation with Ahoge.